Verse 9, then he said to me, write, those invited to the marriage feast of the Lamb are fortunate. That is going to be tremendously important when we see the feast of God. There are two feasts discussed in chapter 19. There is the feast of the Lamb and there is the feast of God, and they are very different things. And believe me, you want to be invited to the feast of the Lamb and not the feast of God. Because if you're at the feast of the Lamb, you are there to eat. If you're at the feast of God, you are the one being eaten.
Oh.
As we will see in the rest of chapter 19. So everybody going to be at a feast now. Okay? Everybody's going to be at a feast. The question is, which feast is it? He also said to me, these words of God are true. Okay? Those invited to the marriage feast of the Lamb are fortunate, and that's the truth. That I fell at his feet to worship him, but he said to me, don't do that. I'm a fellow slave with you and your brothers who have the testimony about Jesus. Worship God, because the testimony about Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. What does that sound like? The testimony about Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. That should tell us several things. The first thing that it should bring us to remembrance of is, who do men say that I am?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Well, you know what, Simon, Peter, son of Jonah, you are blessed because flesh and blood has not revealed that to you. Rather, my Father in heaven has revealed that to you.
Mm.
We come to Christ via the revelation of who Jesus is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
The testimony about Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. It's not these people running around talking about you're going to have $500 in 3 weeks. And I see the Lord saying that if you do this and that, God is going to do that. And God is waiting to open up windows and do all this nonsense you hear these so-called prophets bringing. What is the spirit of prophecy in this age? The testimony about Jesus. Because flesh and blood does not reveal that.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to testify, right, you have been placed in this milieu, in this environment, in this time, in the stream of time that you find yourself, because you bear the testimony about Jesus. And in you resides the spirit of prophecy.
Which, to get back to what we were talking about, Steve, about even the whole question, should a church even, how sensitive should a church be, or how seeker sensitive? To me, this is the point. I don't need to say, if you are here for the first time, if you're doing this, if you like, why do I need to say any of those? Why does the church need to say anything at all? Why do I need to present it in a way? Because just as you said, Cyril, it's not from flesh or blood. I could come every day and it's not going to matter until it's revealed to me and the prophecy comes alive in me. And then that doesn't come from any man.
But this is why we need to tell people that our job is not to make the gospel acceptable. Our job is to make the gospel available.
Amen.
Amen. And as we do that, those who have been appointed unto salvation will believe. That's what Acts 13 says. So the whole seeker-sensitive thing is foolishness. Because here's the thing, right? As a matter of fact, let's go to the scripture.
What scripture are we going to?
Romans chapter 3, verse 11. And this is the answer to the whole seeker-sensitive movement business, right? Romans 3:11 says, and I'm going to read it out of the Amplified Bible. I'm starting at verse 10. As it is written, none is righteous, just and truthful and upright and conscientious, no one. No, not one. And that is what he's talking about being written is Psalm 14:3. No one understands, no one intelligently discerns or comprehends, and here's the key, no one seeks after God. So why are we having seeker-friendly and seeker-sensitive services when the scripture says no one seeks God?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody looking for God. God is seeking men.
Yeah, there's an answer to that question.
Dead people ain't looking for nothing. So if he has made us alive, it is because he sought us. What did Jesus say? The Son of Man comes to seek the lost. He came to seek and to save. Nobody walking around here is coming to your church because they're seeking out. No. If they come to church, it is because God is drawing them. And our responsibility is to be forthright and honest and truthful with the gospel at all times.
Amen. Yeah, that's it.
Don't try to dress it up to make it nice for anybody. Just let it. See, I love how Spurgeon says it, right? The scripture doesn't need to be defended. It's like a lion. You just open the cage and let it out. It'll defend itself. It'll defend itself. And so the whole idea of the seeker-sensitive churches and all the rest of that is foolishness. Rick Warren has made a whole lot of money, but it's foolishness.
Well, isn't even the vocabulary of if you're hearing this message for the first time and your heart it's as if it has to be explained to me by flesh and blood for me to get it.
That goes back to Charles Finney, right? Charles Finney is the father of decisionism. We have the altar call, we have the mourner's bench, we have all those things because what Finney found was that if you manipulate people emotionally, their hearts will be pricked and they'll come running up to the altar, and then you can check off the box that says you had this many people saved that day. And so that took root in churches with every head bowed and every eye closed. Would you raise your hand? Oh, I see that hand, right? Sing Just As I Am without one plea 600 times. Tell people stuff like, oh, the Spirit is telling me that two more people. They're two more. I hear the Lord saying there two. Hurry, don't miss this moment. God, the Spirit of God is holding up the service for you right now. Don't miss this moment. And we work your emotions. That's how we do it.